Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let's Survive Reviews. Now if you see my channel video, you'll know that I say that this is a survival horror focused channel, but it does not mean that all we cover is survival horror. There are some games that I just love too much to not review, and the game that I'm going to be talking about today is one of those games, and that is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, alongside Resident Evil 3 and Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy VII was my favourite PlayStation 1 game. It does beat out those two games because I think I've played it, I've probably played around 500 hours of that game over the past 23 years. I've bought it on pretty much every device you can imagine. I've played it through easily, I would say 20 times, but that would be an underestimation. I would say maybe 30-40 times that I've played through Final Fantasy VII. I was super excited when I heard about Final Fantasy VII Remake, but at the same time there was a part of me that was terrified, especially once I found out that it was going to be episodic. I remember when I saw the first tech demo that was shown at E3 back in like 2007, and I just absolutely lost my mind to see that game done in the style of what was probably the best looking Final Fantasy thing at that time, Advent Children, was incredible. Flash forward to like 2015 and Square-Enix show off the new Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer.
At last, the promise has been made.
Now, again, there was still a part of me, even at this time, that was kind of apprehensive. Sure, I was losing my mind and fanboying out at seeing my favourite characters brought to life in this new style, but there was that part of me that was like, they're going to ruin it, they're going to take out this, they're going to take out that. A big one for me was like, in my head I was convinced they were going to simplify the materia system, because I thought, no way, they're going to get rid of that and make it really just action oriented. I am here to tell you, and look, I'm probably pretty biased in this, although if this game had been rubbish, this is not the conversation we would be having. I will just let you know that. But I am probably a little biased, so take that into account when you're watching this review. The original is my favourite piece of media of all time. Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't even know where to start, I'm not even joking. The very first time I started playing this game, I genuinely started crying when the title, the logo and music came up all at once. Part of me just believed that it would never really exist, so just seeing it and knowing that I was about to play it was a very emotionally charged and powerful moment. I was also nervous, with this being episodic, that they were just going to kind of fill Midgar with a bunch of kind of nonsense content that is just there to prolong the game time, but not actually add anything to the story or characters. And boy was I wrong. They do the polar opposite. Everything that they add in Final Fantasy VII Remake expands the world, expands the characters. There isn't really much in this game that I would call filler content. Sure, there are a couple of mini games that are put in there to presumably kind of get you to replay them a couple of times to pass them, but honestly, everything that's in this game really does service the story, and that is a huge achievement. As per usual, I am getting ahead of myself, so let's hop right back and talk about Final Fantasy VII from a story point of view. When the game kicks off, we're playing as Cloud Strife, who is a mysterious mercenary with a kind of hazy past. Cloud has just arrived in Midgar, which is the biggest city in the world, and he is there to help out an eco-terrorist group called Avalanche take down the big evil Shinra electric power company. I do think it's always been funny to me that in Final Fantasy VII the main villain is effectively the ESB, or like whatever your electric supply company is. It's just bizarre.
Never send out to reach a kid.
He'll do what he says, they ought to be a good lad, yeah.
But at the same time, it works. Because we learn in Final Fantasy VII that Mako is the life stream, it is the spirits of the dead. So effectively, what they're doing in the game is they are harvesting the souls of people who have died and turning it into electricity so you can get your lights going and stuff. Power cars, all that jazz. Through his best friend Tifa, Cloud is introduced to the leader of Avalanche, a guy named Barrett. They don't hit it off immediately, they kind of are butting heads constantly. Barrett is pissed at Cloud because he's a former soldier, which is a division of Shinra, a kind of security division, the kind of the best of the best. So yeah, Barrett and Cloud don't immediately see eye to eye. Cloud is very cold when he joins the group and he's not there to help anybody out per se, he just wants a paycheck. But as the game goes on, you begin to meet a bunch of other characters like Aerith, who is a flower girl living in the slums, who befriends Cloud. You also get to meet a lot more of the supporting characters like Biggs, Wedge, Jesse. I mean, these were all characters in the original game, but they didn't really get much backstory or personality, whereas in the new game there is actually sections dedicated to learning more about them, which is really cool. You meet a bunch of the antagonists. You meet the Turks, which are kind of Shinra's secret service agency, and they're all amazing. There's Reino, Rude, Seng. We meet President Shinra, who is the head of the Shinra Electric Power Company, and he is one nasty piece of work. There are other characters that get introduced in the game that I'm not going to talk about here for fear of spoilers, and I know it's weird to say spoilers for a 23-year-old game, but genuinely that's the best thing about this remake, is that I've played this game to death and there was surprises. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's super faithful to the original, and it's amazing to see those moments come to life, but at the same time there's moments where I go, man, I don't know where this is going now, and to me that's awesome. That's what a remake should be. We already have Final Fantasy VII, we don't need it exactly again, and I will always play the original Final Fantasy VII. I'm playing it again right now, but I love that this new iteration of it feels different enough that they can both exist, and I would want to play them both for different reasons. One of the reasons that I love playing the new one is the battle system. Now, this is the new standard for Square-Enix RPGs. The gameplay is sublime. As I say, they did not drop the materia system. It is there. It is still just as complicated as it ever was. You attach materia to your weapons and accessories, and you basically, it allows you to cast magic, it allows you to buff up your stats, all that kind of stuff, and you can do like really dynamic, complex materia builds in this game. The game is no longer turn-based, which for a lot of people is actually a reason why they'll play it, because I know that a lot of my friends didn't play it back in the day because they didn't like the turn-based combat system. I, for one, always loved turn-based RPGs, but I can fully understand and appreciate that. The new combat system, which is definitely more action-oriented, leans itself to people who didn't appreciate turn-based combat in RPGs. But the great thing about it is, because of stuff like the ATB gauge, which kind of fills up in blocks, it still feels like a traditional Final Fantasy. Like, you still have to kind of wait a bit to use your bigger moves and stuff, or magic or items, you know. So there is still that feeling of it being slightly turn-based, but you can still hack and slash and attack away, dodge, you can guard. Like, the combat system is great, it's super intricate. Square Enix have really outdone themselves here. This is the best combat system in a real-time RPG I've ever played, and I've played a lot of RPGs in my day. The summons are back and they look absolutely amazing. I'm not going to detail them all because, again, spoilers, but I mean, all the traditionals are there, the ones you expect. Shiva, Ifrit, Carbuncle. I think Carbuncle is a DLC. I have him because I pre-ordered, but I'm not sure if it comes stock with the game. And it also looks really weird. I will say that one of my negatives is that Carbuncle looks super bizarre. The game is about 40 to 45 hours in length, depending on how you kind of play it. Like, I'm one of those people that runs into every room and kind of goes around it 5 times looking to see if I've missed anything. So I think my first playthrough was closer to 50 hours. But the great thing, again, is that this really, again, lends itself to replayability. It's got a hard mode that unlocks when you finish the game. It's got a chapter select, so you can go and replay certain chapters and get stuff that you missed. Like, this game is absolutely brimming with content. One thing I'm really proud of Square Enix for is that they didn't cut certain sections out that maybe might have felt dated, such as the Don Corneo scene. What they've done there is they've really made those scenes modern. They've really made them feel at home in the world of this game. It's treated with such reverence. It's not treated as a punchline or a joke. And I just absolutely loved how they handled those scenes. One of my only critiques really with the game is that Sephiroth, I feel like he's brought in way too early. One of the best things about the original game is Sephiroth was kind of a background character. You didn't really know anything about him for maybe the first 10 or so hours, and that was basically the whole Midgar section. Like, you didn't really see him until you're exiting Midgar. So I feel like they're kind of pandering to the fans of the original by showing Sephiroth early on, but to me, for people who would have never played the original, it maybe kind of takes away the mystique or allure of Sephiroth. Again, with the pronunciation thing, I've always called him Sephiroth. I know in the game they call him Sephiroth. I will never call him Sephiroth. I'm sorry, since for 23 years I've been calling him Sephiroth. That's not going to change. But me and all my friends, and we were like, growing up, we were those nerds that love Final Fantasy VII so much, we were going on forums and writing fan fiction and stuff, but we've always called him Sephiroth. We've always called him Chocobos. Now they're called Chocobos. That upsets me. We always called it Mako. Now it's Mako. I'm not okay with this. But yeah, I don't care about all that stuff. What I care about is how good this friggin' game is. I feel at home. I feel like I'm hanging out with friends. It's been great to see friends of mine who kind of skipped over the original, picking this game up and getting into it. But even more so than that, it's been awesome to hear them say, oh my god, I'm definitely going to replay the original now because this game has kind of made me so invested. That's awesome, because the more people that go back and play the original Final Fantasy VII, the happier I will be. One of the things about Final Fantasy VII that I have to talk about, it's the thing that is probably the most emotionally engaging for me, is the score. The score for this game by Nobuo Uematsu is one of the best scores in a video game, or any piece of media in my opinion, ever, and it is gorgeous here. Every song from the original is redone in a beautiful new style. The music tugs on the heartstrings. Every time I heard one of Sephiroth's themes, because Sephiroth has multiple themes, it would just absolutely sent me to jelly, and that is Those Chosen by the Planet, which fans of the series will know. Every time it came on, my whole body just filled with goose pimples. I was like, oh my god, yes, like, this is incredible. The game really doesn't deviate from the story of the original all that much, but there are some very cool things that happen kind of later in the game that do maybe set the series on a course where it's not going to necessarily follow the trajectory of the original exactly, and to me that's really cool. I'm not going to say any more than that for fear of getting into spoilers, but while the ending has been somewhat divisive with people, I think it is hands down one of the best endings I've seen in anything ever, because to me it's clever, it's big, it changes the world enough that we know going forward that the gloves are off and Square are not just prepared to hand us the same thing over again. If that pisses you off, I'm sorry, I'm down for it. Square-Enix, take me wherever you want. I am willing to go on the journey with you after experiencing this game. I could probably do 10 videos about how much I love this game, so I'm just going to try and keep it as brief as I can. You already know the review score. It's probably the only time on this channel that I'll ever drop this on a game. Final Fantasy VII Remake, 10 out of 10. Flawless in my opinion. I really don't think there's nothing in it that's a big enough gripe to me to make me take a mark off of it. There may be tiny little subtle things that maybe bug me a little bit, but this is a beautiful recreation of one of the greatest stories and video games ever. Final Fantasy VII Remake is genuinely, to me, as near perfect a game as you can get. It will never take away my love for the original. If I was to give the original reviewer score right now, it would be getting 11 out of 10. I love it that much, but it doesn't matter. This is a different game, and that's my favorite thing about it, is it's not a replacement, it's a companion piece. And I'm just... you can see it in me, right? Like, I am so happy. I waited 23 years and I got exactly what I wanted. That never happens. Like, when does that happen? Final Fantasy VII Remake is available on PS4 right now. It's got an exclusive limited window on that platform, so I can't give you any information as to when it will come out on Xbox One and PC. But yeah, for now, if you have a PS4, you should be getting this game and you should be playing the damn hell out of this game. It is... it's kind of the event of a generation in my opinion, and I've never been so excited for a game as I am right now for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. But until then, I'll be replaying this, and I will be replaying the original and replaying Crisis Core and rewatching Advent Children, basically playing all the stuff in between except for Dirge Cerberus. Anyhow, that's all I'm going to say on Final Fantasy VII Remake, or else I will keep you here forever. Let me know what you thought of the remake in the comments below, but please try to avoid spoilers, because even though this is based on a 23-year-old game, there is still stuff that could potentially ruin the experience for people who are playing it for the first time now. Thanks so much for checking out this review. I know it wasn't survival horror related, but as I say, this game means so much to me that I just had to do a review of it. If you enjoy what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. We've some really cool stuff coming up. Got some kind of alternative content that I don't want to necessarily give away right now. We've also got Let's Survive Together, which is going to be so much fun. I'm really excited for you guys to get in on that. And yeah, and then as I say, we got news, we got reviews. Please stick around, really appreciate your support. If you have a PS4, just go buy Final Fantasy VII Remake right now and spend the next 50 hours straight just playing it. It's the game of a lifetime. And with that, we're going to say goodbye. Let's survive together. As always, peace out.